Welcome to a lecture series on tourism. Travel agencies have contributed immensely to the growth of tourism by being the marketing arms of various service providers like airlines, hotels, tour operators, transport providers, insurance companies, car rental companies, to name a few. They help the service provider to reach out to a large segment of travelers and act as a bridge between him and the traveler. In this module, we will be discussing this age-old and important component of the travel business under the following topics: travel agency, the origin and evolution, type of travel agencies, certifications from international associations, survival in the internet era, TCI, the success story of an Indian travel agency. We hope it gives you an overall perspective of the origin, objectives and operations of the institution called travel agency and enable you to understand and appreciate its critical role.
Travel agency, the origin and evolution. Tourism as it exists today began by a mere coincidence. In the year 1841, Thomas Cook, an intelligent and active member of the Temperance Society of England, organized a trip by train from Leicester to Loughborough and back. There were 570 passengers who were all members of his society, and the total distance was just 22 miles. Thomas Cook was the first agent to buy tickets in bulk and to retail them to other people. The trip cost each passenger 1 shilling and was organized on a no-profit basis with lunch, tea, and a band playing religious songs on board. The success of this trip encouraged Thomas Cook to create a business model in 1845 when he set up a full-time company to organize excursions. This new venture had to subsist with a meager 5% commission paid by the railway company, which made Mr. Cook to seriously look at diversification. He moved on to package tours, which included transport, hotel accommodation, sightseeing, guide services, and food at the destination. His innovative spirit revolutionized travel with novel concepts like travelers' checks and hotel vouchers that made cash payments redundant. Further, travelers' checks also came with insurance coverage against loss or theft, thus eliminating the hassles of safekeeping them. These two inventions by Mr. Cook have stood the test of time and continue to be an inseparable aspect of travel and holiday until now. Almost around the same time, other travel companies like the American Express were set up in major cities across the USA and Europe. Thomas Cook's association with India began in 1878 when it brought the first group of rich British tourists to India, to Bombay by ship. Another travel company known for its wide network and range of services is the American Express Company, or Amexco. The concept of credit card is an Amexco invention, which entitles a cardholder to buy anything up to a given limit without having to pay cash. So long as travel was limited to ships or the railways, the companies did not need travel agents to sell their tickets. They were content to have booking offices in their premises and never thought of any external agencies to promote business. But the advent of aeroplane changed the travel scene. In the 1930s, Pan Am, which subsequently became America's #1 international carrier, could not afford an office to run its business. So it struck a deal with Thomas Cook for opening a ticket counter in its offices across the USA against a 10% commission. This is how travel agencies came to function as the marketing arms of airlines. Now, some 70% of international and 60% of domestic airline tickets are sold by travel agents across the world. Many governments, including those of the USA, UK, Japan, and Singapore, have legislations regulating the working of travel agencies to protect the consumers from unfair business practices. The regulations insist that travel agencies should have trained staff, minimum capital, and consumer protection insurance. In India, there is no legislation to regulate travel agencies. However, they are within the purview of various consumer protection forums who take up complaints against travel agencies. Travel agencies in the post-war period. The travel scene has been witness to many significant changes after World War II. In the post-war period, many shipping companies folded up. Railways lost their popularity in USA and Canada as the automobile explosion in those countries made cars the most preferred mode of transport. Travel for fun and pleasure resumed in a vigorous manner. Cost of air travel, which was very high in the initial stages, nosedived with the arrival of larger commercial aircrafts. The 375-seater Boeing 747 brought about a price war, making air travel cheaper than sea travel. To fill up the wide-body jet, airlines needed more sales outlets, which were provided by the travel agencies. The number of travel agencies worldwide increased from 3,000 in the early 50s to 60,000 by 1998. In the year 2000 alone, scheduled airlines carried more than 2 billion passengers. Over and above this, chartered aircraft fly an estimated 500 million passengers annually. Types of travel agencies. Basically, there are two types of travel agencies: the general travel agency, the specialized travel agency. The general travel agency is distinguished by a small workforce with 2 to 10 employees, a wide range of travel-related services. The specialized travel agency has a large workforce, specialized capabilities in one form of travel or travel-related service targeted at a group or a community. A specialized travel agency targets corporate and commercial accounts, taking care of their business travel, air tickets, hotel accommodation, car rentals, cruise travel, package tours, besides organizing conventions or conferences. But some specialized travel agencies are content with developing and marketing domestic tours. Travel agencies can be further classified into wholesalers and retailers. The wholesalers develop package tours to many destinations and sell them either directly to the travelers or through retail travel agents who get commissions up to 10%. All travel arrangements like transport, stay, sightseeing, food, etc. are taken care of by the wholesaler. It is also important to familiarize ourselves with terms like outbound tour operator and inbound tour operator. Tour operators who promote tours to foreign destinations are called outbound tour operators, whereas those who receive guests and handle arrangements in the country of destination are called inbound tour operators. Travel agents who operate tours only within their own country are called domestic tour operators. Revenue model. Most travel agencies do not charge anything from their clients for the services rendered. They subsist on commission given by their principals, namely airlines, railways, insurance companies, hotel or motels, car rental companies, etc. Commissions offered to a travel agent vary from country to country, depending on the market situation. For instance, airlines offer commissions up to 15% in USA, where there is no ceiling on commissions due to the liberal economic policies followed by the government. In India, airlines follow the IATA norms, whereby they offer 7% commission on international travel. Air India offers 5% commission, on par with the private airlines in the fray. Indian Railways do not offer commission to travel agencies. As a result, the agencies levy a service charge for clients who approach them for railway bookings. However, Indian Railways offer a 10% discount to agencies on the in-rail passes they sell to travellers from abroad against foreign currency payments, and also on Palace on Wheels tickets. There are about 1,000 IATA approved travel agencies in India. A few of them have a dozen or more offices all over the country and provide employment to a large number of educated youngsters. These travel agencies provide comprehensive services covering preparation of itineraries, reservations and ticketing, arranging passports, visas and health documents, hotel reservations, transport, sightseeing, travel insurance, etc. In short, there is hardly anything that a travel agency cannot do for their client at the other end of the journey, provided it is professionally run with experienced people at the helm. How to open a travel agency? One critical factor in starting a travel agency is the selection of a proper location. A travel agency must be located in a developed place which has a good infrastructure like roads, power supply, parking facilities, and communication network. It must be centrally located and easily accessible to the target clientele. As for the budget, the thumb rule is that rent and utilities should not exceed 10% of the projected budget. The office ambience must be attractive and aesthetic. Outdoor signs and window displays are essential features of a good travel agency. Telephone, fax, photocopier, and computers with net connection are the minimum office equipment recommended. Most successful travel agencies have backroom computerization for their accounting, billing, and follow-ups on outstanding payments. Certifications from international associations. It is important for a travel agent to get certifications from IATA and other agencies. In the first year of its operation, a travel agency gets no commission from airlines. However, after getting approval from IATA, it can claim commission from airlines for the sale effected on a retroactive basis. Recognition by IATA lends certain credibility to a travel agent's operations. Most IATA-approved agents in India are also members of a national organization called TAAI, Travel Agents Association of India. A membership with this body is further proof of the agency's professionalism and reliability. Established in 1950, the TAAI has its headquarters in Mumbai with 7 chapters in major cities across India. The objectives of TAAI are to protect the genuine and legitimate interests of its members that include not only travel agencies but also airlines, hotels, motels, and transport companies. TAFI, yet another organization that protects the interests of travel agencies and tour operators across India. The Travel Agents Federation of India works closely with TAAI. IATO. Based in Delhi, IATO, or the Indian Association of Tour Operators, safeguards the interests of tour operators in India. A young and active organization, it has among its members all those involved in tourism, including hotels, transport operators, airlines, and state tourism departments, etc. UFTAA or UFTA, Universal Federation of Travel Agents Association, or the UFTA, is a global body with 121 travel agency associations from across the world as members, including India's TAAI. It also has over 48,000 travel agencies worldwide on its list of members. UFTA provides training opportunities to its member travel agents. ASTA, American Society of Travel Agencies, is another major international organization which permits travel agents from all countries in the world to become its members. It holds annual conventions called World Travel Congress, which attracts as many as 8,000 travel agents every year. According to an IATA report, the number of IATA-approved agencies has doubled in 10 years, from the 30,000 in 1990 to 60,000 in 2000. Statistics pertaining to the travel agency business in the USA are mind-boggling. In 1995, travel agencies in that country issued airline tickets worth $45 billion and earned a commission of $4 billion. As for India, more than 60% of the airline's earnings from domestic air travel is generated by travel agents, which also account for 70% of the international sales. The rest of the selling is done either directly by the airlines or through their general sales agencies or GSAs. GSAs are normally appointed by an airline at a place where there are no IATA agents. A GSA sells tickets of only one airline which it represents and operates its offices as the airline's own office for all practical purposes. A GSA meticulously complies with all the specifications laid down by the principal airline for documentation, office decor, and display with the signboards in the approved color schemes, remuneration and allowances of the personnel, their uniform, etc. These outfits earn a higher commission than the regular IATA agents. Over the years, most airlines have found it advantageous to have their operations run by a GSA to cut down on overheads. Changing patterns in Indian tourism. The number of outbound travelers from India touched the 4 million mark in the year 2000. Till the mid-80s, Indians, particularly the leisure travelers, were discouraged to go abroad, and foreign exchange was not released by the government if they declared their purpose as leisure. Foreign exchange was considered to be too precious and was granted only if the purpose of travel was business promotion, official visit, or medical treatment. For all other purposes, Indians traveling to foreign countries were allowed only a paltry $20. This situation improved a little in the 1990s when the currency allowance was raised to $300 and in the later years to $500. However, this state of affairs underwent a drastic transformation when India decided to liberalize its economy in the early 1990s. The country achieved an average growth rate of 4.5% annually during this decade and went on with an accelerated growth in the later part of the decade. Foreign currency allowance was increased to $3,000 for every Indian traveler in the year 2000. It was further enhanced to $5,000 per person that it currently stands at. For those who are on official tour or business trips or medical treatment, the allowance has been raised to $25,000. Reforms in this area ensured that travelers did not have to obtain prior clearance from Reserve Bank of India or the government for foreign exchange to travel overseas. Survival in the Internet era. New technologies like the Computerized Central Reservation System (CRS) have made the task of travel agencies easier, more efficient and profitable. With a touch of a few buttons, they can hand over the complete itinerary of a client duly printed. But communications through the internet open new horizons for speed, accuracy and customer service. Well, it is a boon to travel agencies, yet may threaten their very existence. Today, any person owning a personal computer can access any travel information, make reservations, pay for it with debit or credit card, and print the travel documents before commencement of travel. At present, there are 5 million internet connections in India, but within the next few years, this number may increase by several millions. A decade back, travel business seemed to be in a healthy state. Commissions were high and profits were soaring. Travel agents were pampered by airlines with incentives. But the arrival of the internet has changed the scenario, and a downhill trend in travel agency business worldwide is all too evident. Airlines have their own website and provide all travel-related information to a prospective traveler who wraps up his travel plans with just a click of the mouse. As a result, airlines and other travel service providers directly sell to the consumers, thereby creating anxieties for the travel agent. However, many travel agents today are gearing up for the challenge posed by the internet by having their own websites and promote their business. A recent research by ASTA, the American Society of Travel Agencies, has revealed that more than 67% of their members are now charging a fee for their services, as income from commissions is inadequate. But the statistical figures of the TIA, Travel Industry of America survey, provide some good news for travel agents. It analyzes the situation after the advent of the internet and derives consolation from the overall growth of the industry. In 1997, the total US travel business was estimated to be $500 billion, while the business transacted on the net was $900 million. In the year 2002, the overall travel business in the country stood at nearly $800 billion. The business transacted on the net was just $9 billion. Thus, it was clear that the business on the net was just 1.2% of the total volume, leaving the rest for travel agents. Enough for everyone to have a share of the cake. TCI, an Indian success story. July 1961 was a watershed for the Indian travel business. It marked the merger of 3 leading Indian travel agencies, namely Jinnah & Co., Lee and Muirhead India Private Limited, and J. Nana Das & Co., to form TCI, Travel Corporation of India. Since then, TCI has pioneered new trends in tourism and helped thousands of tourists to discover India and other countries in the world. Along the way, they have earned for the country millions of dollars in foreign exchange, collected many prestigious awards for their pioneering effort in tourism, like the Government of India's National Tourism Award, which they have won 14 times. Their exclusive speed hotel service assures instant room reservations in more than 70 hotels across India. And that's not all. TCI has its own fleet of luxury coaches and limousines. They are the exclusive agents for InDrail passes on India's extensive rail network, U-Rail, Japan Rail, Amtrak, and Greyhound, etc. Today, TCI is a Rs 2,500 million company with over 1,000 professionals spread across 27 offices in India and 12 offices abroad. Opportunities ahead. The number of outbound travelers from India has registered a steep increase in recent times. Finding this phenomenon curious, PATA, the Pacific Air Travel Association, embarked on a research study which threw up some interesting facts. In the year 2000 alone, outbound tourism has touched the 4 million mark, leaving behind inbound tourism which stood at 2.6 million. An estimated 25 million Indians are today in a position to afford foreign travel. Thus, it is clear that there is a vast potential yet to be tapped, and that means great opportunities and a bright future for the Indian travel industry.
Notwithstanding all the competition in the industry and growth of technology, travel agent has a definite and positive role to play. Actually, he sifts through the enormous data presented by the service provider, transforms it into digestible bits before passing it on to the traveler. We hope these discussions have given you some fresh insights into the role and relevance of travel agents. With that, we conclude this session. Thank you.